Hey YouTube, we're going to do a little bit of a discussion video tonight. It's raining really hard, so if you hear stuff in the background, that's the rain and thunder. But this knife right here is a Rockstead Chi. I'm not going to tell you the price because it's kind of more fun if you look up the price yourself, and then you can get that adrenaline rush of anger when you read the price of this knife. It's a Rockstead Chi, C-H-I. But the topic is going to be expensive knives. Are they worth it? This is a question that comes up again and again on YouTube. It's kind of a tricky question because price is relative. I mean, what one person considers expensive might not be considered expensive by another person. Tell me if you remember back in the day on YouTube, 5 or 6 years ago, people used to make videos on whether Emerson knives are worth it. You know, knives maybe around $200 for regular size, and then the super size ones, $260, $280. Also back in the day on YouTube, again, 5, 6 years ago, people used to make videos. Is Benchmade really worth the price? You know, and you were talking about knives from around 160 to into the 200s. You know, is Benchmade really worth the price? And wow, how things have changed. Okay, these knives are no longer considered expensive on YouTube. Nowadays, it's not, you know, is a $200 Benchmade worth the price, or is a $200 Emerson worth the price? Nowadays, you got people talking about Medford knives, Shiragurovs, full-on custom folders, stuff like that, you know. And I would show you a Medford or a Shiragorov if I had one, but I don't. You know, I don't have one to give you a visual here, but I guess my Rockstead will have to suffice. And you know, the Sebenza and the Strider, I don't have a hinderer, so you know, I don't have the requisite hinderer because I'm just not cool enough to have one. So these are going to have to suffice to represent the expensive knives. And here, let me put my Elk Ridge $9 knife that I reviewed, just to kind of make it, you know, just to kind of make things look a bit absurd. A knife that's $500 compared to a knife that's $50, the $500 knife is 10 times the price, but it's not going to be 10 times the quality. It's not a linear progression is what I'm trying to say. In other words, the $500 knife is not going to be 10 times as sharp as the $50 knife. The pivot is not going to be 10 times as smooth. The lock is not going to take 10 times as much force. Okay? The steel is not going to be 10 times the price. Although I guess it could be depending on the steel, but generally not. Okay, so if you're going to start buying expensive knives, you have to understand there's a point of diminishing returns, where as the price of the knife goes up, you're paying more and more for smaller and smaller and smaller improvements. And just more knives for eye candy. Got some Spyderco, some ZT, 2 Microtechs. You know, but with knives, I mean, you quickly can reach a point where you're paying, you know, $50, $60, $100 more between 2 different models. And there really is there is nothing about the more expensive knife that's objectively better. I mean, I could find a $120 Spyderco and compare it to a $200 Benchmade, and they very well could have exactly the same level of fit and finish and of you know, mechanical quality and precision. You know, so where did the extra $80 go to? You know, again, nothing but the brand and the particular form of the knife. You know, that's how much the one company decided to charge, and no one else can sell that particular knife. But back to the question of, are expensive knives worth it? Or let's face the real question. Because when people ask me that, they're not asking as part of philosophy. They're really asking if they should start buying more expensive knives. You know what? You need to practice know thyself. You have to be honest with yourself, dude. Are you the type of person that can make expensive purchases and be okay with that? Or are you the type of person that when you make an expensive purchase, you just worry and you're just a nervous wreck, and as soon as you push that button, you're regretting it and you're dreading it? If you're the type of person that gets super tense over that stuff, then don't do it, dude. Because why on earth would you do something voluntarily that you're not really comfortable with? So I guess my answer to most people would be no. You know, if you're asking me and you're really tense and nervous and worried, then I'd have to say no, don't do it, dude. Why would you do something you're not comfortable with? Okay, let's talk about what I call the sweet spot in the pricing scale for folding knives. Okay, you know, what is the point where diminishing returns becomes such a big factor that it's not really worth going higher unless you're a collector or you just have an excess of money to spend? You know, there's got to be some point that would be the sweet spot for folding knives that's a good balance. You know, to just give you the honest answer, for folding knives, the sweet spot in the market is between like 100 up to around 130. Okay, for example, these two folders right here are Brissa Enzo folders. That's a company in Finland, and the knives are actually made in Taiwan. And the price on these is around 110. Okay, this is a Spyderco Cali. It's a Cali 3 carbon fiber ZDP edge laminate blade. I believe this is around 130. Okay, so blades like this. So if you're not concerned with being a collector and you don't have an excess of money to spend, I would say you can stop at around that level. You know, the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 is about 120. So yeah, you can stop around that level. Now every once in a while a knife comes along that kind of screws that up, because this cold steel holdout 3, right, with the new CTS, you know, the carpenter's steel, this thing is only about $62. And I mean, honestly, this $62 knife could basically do you just as well, it could perform just as well for you as most $100 knives. Okay, so, I mean, maybe we could lower it even more, but see, this is just kind of an exceptional knife. Most knives of this price range actually do have some leeway to improve. Okay, so I don't know, this is just, maybe it's a indicator of things to come, but I do highly recommend that holdout 3. But yeah, aside from, you know, magical exceptions like that, the ceiling of diminishing returns and the sweet spot, it's between 100 and around 130. So yeah, my real advice, before you buy the Strider or the Medford or whatever knife you consider to be really expensive, I would get all 3 of these. You could buy all 3 of these, okay, for less than the price of this Strider. You could get all 3 of these. So I would do that and use these for a year, and if you're happy with them, then, you know, no, you don't have to go higher than that. All right, and now that I've made both sides mad, you know, the collectors are mad at me because I didn't tell them they, you know, must have a expensive knife, and the people who like $30 knives are pissed at me because I didn't set the sweet spot a little lower. Well, now that I pissed off everybody, my job is done here, so hope you enjoyed hating the video. This has been We All Juggle Knives. I'm out.